Baker & Taylor, the largest book supplier to public libraries in the United States, announced in October 2025 that it will cease all operations by the end of the year. The closure affects over 6,000 libraries nationwide, disrupting the primary source of books and materials for institutions across America. This video examines the company's collapse, the immediate consequences for libraries, and the emerging solutions in the wholesale book market. Baker & Taylor was founded in 1828 as a bookbinding and publishing business. The company initially distributed books via horse-drawn carriage before evolving into the nation's largest library wholesaler. By 2025, the North Carolina-based company employed over 900 staff members and served more than 5,000 libraries worldwide. Baker & Taylor provided comprehensive services beyond book distribution. The company offered cataloging, labeling, jacketing, and shelf-ready processing, allowing materials to arrive at libraries fully prepared for circulation. This eliminated substantial labor costs and processing time for library staff. Many libraries, particularly smaller institutions in rural areas, relied heavily on Baker & Taylor. Some purchased over 80% of their total collections through the wholesaler. The company's scale and efficiency made it an essential component of library operations nationwide. However, Baker & Taylor had been experiencing severe financial difficulties for several years before announcing its closure. Significant operational issues at Baker & Taylor became apparent throughout 2024 and 2025. Libraries across the country reported escalating problems with order fulfillment and delivery times. The director of Iowa City Public Library reported extended delays affecting high-profile acquisitions. When author Art Cullen visited for a speaking event, the library had no copies of his newly released book despite ordering months in advance. Tacoma Public Library experienced delivery times expanding from 2 weeks to 16 weeks for standard orders. This included frontlist titles typically delivered quickly. Seattle Public Library ordered 5,500 items from Baker & Taylor in 2025. Nearly 500 copies remained stuck in backorder status when the closure was announced. The situation deteriorated further when ReaderLink distribution services announced acquisition plans. Baker & Taylor canceled existing publisher orders to prepare for integration with ReaderLink's ordering system. The new system never materialized. ReaderLink Distribution Services, an Illinois-based wholesaler, announced plans to acquire Baker & Taylor. The transaction was intended to stabilize Baker & Taylor's operations and provide financial support. On September 26, 2025, the acquisition agreement was terminated. Neither company provided detailed public explanations for the deal's collapse. Following the failed merger, Baker & Taylor CEO Aman Kochhar informed employees that continued operations were not viable. The company had already begun shuttering facilities, including its Illinois distribution center and portions of its Charlotte operations. In early October 2025, staff received notification that all business activities would wind down by December 31, 2025. The closure created immediate operational crises for libraries nationwide. Iowa City Public Library purchased 84% of its materials through Baker & Taylor. When the closure was announced, the library had 6 months of pending orders. All orders were canceled and transferred to alternative vendors. Jacksonville Public Library in Florida issued public notices warning patrons of extended delays. Over 6,000 libraries faced similar disruptions during the transition period. Cedar Rapids Public Library lost access to Baker & Taylor's processing services. Staff must now handle cataloging, labeling, and material preparation internally. These tasks require specialized knowledge and significant time investment, resulting in longer patron wait times. Rural libraries encountered additional challenges. Many Iowa libraries utilized a State Library of Iowa contract that enabled collective bargaining for discounted pricing through Baker and Taylor. This arrangement allowed smaller systems to access competitive rates comparable to major urban library networks. The loss of these negotiated discounts increased per unit cost substantially. Sam Helmick, president of the American Library Association, stated they've been instrumental for decades. There's no one-to-one replacement. Multiple companies are positioning themselves to capture portions of Baker and Taylor's market share. Ingram Content Group represents the most established alternative. The company already maintains relationships with most large library systems. Ingram stocks 19 million titles and has expanded its small library customer base in recent years. Carolyn Morris, vice president of Ingram Library Services, announced the company is implementing a new cataloging and processing system to accelerate customer onboarding. Ingram plans to hire approximately 50 additional staff members for its library division. Bookazine, a New Jersey-based wholesaler operating for 100 years, reported immediate interest from library customers. Within days of the Baker and Taylor announcement, Bookazine engaged with over 100 new library accounts. The company is expanding its library-focused sales infrastructure and upgrading operational processes. 2 school library vendors are entering the public library market. Follett Content maintains relationships with more than 6,000 publishers and stocks over 370,000 children's and young adult titles. The company states it can immediately serve smaller and mid-sized libraries, with capabilities for larger systems expected by early 2026. Mackin, headquartered in Minnesota, provides access to 4.2 million titles from 18,000 publishers. The company created Mackin Public specifically for public library customers. Amazon Business launched Amazon Business Books for libraries in June 2025. The service includes a dedicated library hub and offers discounts of 30 to 40% on selected titles. Amazon representatives have been conducting outreach to libraries in multiple regions. Despite the emergence of alternative suppliers, substantial obstacles remain. Market concentration poses concerns. Multiple librarians expressed reluctance to become dependent on a single dominant vendor. The consolidation of library purchasing through fewer wholesalers reduces competitive pressure and negotiating leverage. Service replication presents technical difficulties. Christopher Platt, director of Santa Cruz Public Libraries and former Baker and Taylor employee, noted that the company's customized library services defined workflow standards for decades. Establishing equivalent processing arrangements with new vendors requires extensive setup time and technical coordination. Capacity constraints are inevitable. Jennifer Tormey, supervising librarian at Des Moines Public Library, predicted bottlenecks as thousands of libraries redirect orders to a limited number of wholesalers. Delivery delays are expected during the transition period. Price increases appear likely. Baker and Taylor provided industry-leading discounts due to its market scale. Alternative vendors may not match these pricing levels, particularly for smaller libraries with limited budgets. And Mangano from Iowa City Public Library stated that overall library collections will be smaller and copy quantities will decrease. These constraints arrive during a period of already strained library budgets. Library users should anticipate several changes in service delivery. Extended wait times for new releases are expected. Popular titles and bestsellers may require additional weeks or months to become available. Reduced selection breadth is probable. Libraries operating under financial constraints will purchase fewer copies of individual titles, lengthening hold queues. Digital collection expansion is accelerating. Multiple libraries are increasing investments in e-books and e-audiobooks to compensate for physical material delays. Jacksonville Public Library reported no expected disruptions to digital offerings. Patron patience is necessary during the transition period. Libraries nationwide are communicating with communities about known impacts and ongoing solutions development. The Baker and Taylor closure concludes nearly 2 centuries of operations in library wholesaling. Financial pressures and a failed acquisition eliminated the dominant supplier in the American library market. The restructured wholesale landscape will determine how libraries acquire materials for the foreseeable future. Questions remain about market concentration, the role of technology companies like Amazon, and the viability of specialized vendors for specific categories. Libraries are adapting operations, wholesalers are expanding capacity, and readers face longer acquisition timelines for new materials. The transformation of library supply chains represents a fundamental shift in how public institutions access and distribute books.